The ship trembled as it emerged from the hyperspace corridor, its battered hull groaning under the strain of interstellar travel. Captain Elias Vorn gripped the edge of his command chair, knuckles white, as he stared at the holographic display. Before him, the alien message blinked in bright red letters across the screen. "Congratulations! You just declared war on the galaxy's deadliest species." Elias leaned back, letting out a long sigh. He hadn't asked for this. Hell, he didn't even know what this was supposed to mean. All he'd done was activate an ancient beacon they'd found drifting in deep space, a relic left behind by some long-extinct civilization. It had seemed harmless enough at first, a curiosity. But now it felt like a death sentence. "Captain," Lieutenant Mara Kale said, her voice tight with unease. She stood beside the tactical console, her dark eyes scanning the readouts. "We've got incoming signals. Dozens of them. They're converging on our position." "Species?" Elias asked sharply, though he already knew the answer wouldn't be good. Mara hesitated, then shook her head. "Unknown. Whatever they are, their ships are moving faster than anything we've ever encountered. Faster than light without using conventional drives. And," she trailed off, swallowing hard, "they're broadcasting the same message over and over again." Elias clenched his jaw. "Congratulations, you just declared war." "Yeah, I heard." The bridge crew exchanged uneasy glances. The Aurora, their aging exploration vessel, wasn't built for combat. Its weapons systems were outdated, its shields barely functional, after years of neglect. If these aliens truly were the deadliest species in the galaxy, they were screwed. Hours passed, or perhaps it was only minutes. Time blurred when fear took hold. The first of the alien vessels appeared on the horizon, silhouetted against the endless void of space. It wasn't a single ship, but a swarm, hundreds of sleek insectoid craft that shimmered like liquid metal. Their design defied logic, shifting and morphing as if alive. "They're not responding to hails," Mara reported, her fingers flying over the controls. "No attempts at communication whatsoever," Elias frowned. "Maybe they don't speak our language. Or maybe they don't care," muttered Ensign Jax, the youngest member of the crew. His face was pale, sweat beading on his forehead. "What kind of species declares war without even talking first?" "The kind that doesn't need to," Elias replied grimly. He turned to Mara. "How far until we can jump back into hyperspace?" She glanced at the navigation panel. "Too far. We'll never make it out of range before they intercept us." If on cue, the lead alien vessel accelerated, breaking away from the swarm. It loomed closer, growing larger with each passing second until it filled the viewport. The ship pulsed with an eerie green light, casting strange shadows across the bridge. "They're scanning us," Mara said suddenly, her voice rising. "Energy signatures spiking. They're charging weapons." "All hands, brace for impact," Elias barked, gripping the arms of his chair. The crew scrambled to secure themselves as alarms blared throughout the ship, but the attack never came. Instead, the alien vessel emitted a low-frequency hum that resonated through the Aurora's hull. It felt less like sound and more like pressure, pressing down on every nerve ending. Then, without warning, the lights flickered, and the ship's systems went dark. "What the hell just happened?" Jax demanded, his voice trembling. Mara tapped furiously at her console, trying to reboot the systems. "They're inside our network. Somehow they hacked us mid-flight." Before anyone could respond, the hum intensified, and the air grew thick, with static electricity. A figure materialized in the center of the bridge, not human, not machine, but something in between. Its body was composed of shifting, translucent panels that refracted light in impossible ways. Its eyes, if they could be called that, glowed with an unnatural intelligence, and yet, despite its otherworldly appearance, there was something familiar about it, something unsettlingly close to home. "You have awakened us," the creature said, its voice echoing as though spoken by many mouths at once. "You have violated sacred ground. For this trespass, annihilation is inevitable." Elias rose slowly from his seat, forcing himself to remain calm. "We didn't know. That beacon, it looked abandoned. We thought—" "You thought wrong," the creature interrupted, its tone devoid of emotion. "Your ignorance does not absolve you. The signal you activated was a warning, not an invitation. By triggering it, you have declared yourselves enemies of the Zithara." "The Zithara?" Elias repeated, the name tasting bitter on his tongue. "Who or what are you?" "We are the apex predators of the cosmos," the creature replied, its form rippling like water. "For millennia, we have hunted those who dare disturb the balance of existence. You are no different." Behind Elias, the crew exchanged panicked looks. This wasn't just a misunderstanding. It was an extinction-level event. The Zithara weren't interested in diplomacy or negotiation. To them, humanity was nothing more than prey. The standoff lasted mere moments before the creature dissolved into thin air, leaving the bridge eerily silent. Moments later, the ship's systems roared back to life, bathing the room in harsh, artificial light. "They're gone," Mara whispered, staring at her console in disbelief. "They just disappeared." "For now," Elias muttered, sinking back into his chair. He rubbed his temples, his mind racing. "But they'll be back, and when they return, they won't stop until we're wiped out." "So what do we do?" Jax asked, his voice cracking. "Fight? Run? Surrender?" Elias looked around at his crew, seeing the fear etched into their faces. They were scientists, explorers, not soldiers. Asking them to fight against such overwhelming odds was madness, but surrendering meant certain death, and running wouldn't buy them much time. "There's one option," he said finally, his voice steady despite the turmoil within. "We find a way to turn this around, to hit them where it hurts." "How?" Mara asked skeptically. "They're practically gods compared to us." "Not gods," Elias corrected. "Predators. And every predator has a weakness. We just need to figure out what theirs is." He stood, determination hardening his features. "Get me everything we've recorded about those ships, their movements, their energy signatures, anything. If we're going to survive this, we'll need to think smarter, not harder." As the crew sprang into action, Elias allowed himself a moment of doubt. What had started as a routine mission had spiraled into a nightmare beyond comprehension. The Zithara were unlike anything humanity had ever faced, and declaring war on them might very well spell the end of their species. But as he gazed out at the stars, Elias couldn't help but feel a spark of defiance. Maybe they were outmatched. Maybe they were outnumbered. But humans had always thrived in the face of impossible odds, and if the galaxy's deadliest species wanted a fight, they were about to discover exactly why humanity had survived so long. To be continued.